averages appear in different formats. There's definitely at least one question on averages in every exam. You can see this one here, 6 marks. An average question won't be solely 6 marks, but as you can see, there's the one word there, median. That means it's an average. But apart from that, you've got circles going on here, you've got pi, you've got lots of different things where we're finding out the area of the matting. So it adds up to 6. So let's move the calculator just there. So Eric wants to put down rubber flooring around his shot put circle. Okay, so this is the orange bit, it's the rubber flooring. The radius of the circle is 3.8 feet. The dimensions are in the diagram. So already here we've got feet and we've got meters. Eric uses a conversion graph between feet and meters to work out the area of the flooring he needs. Click on the, I tell you what, I've not got the conversion graph because I've done it on another question. So let me grab the conversion graph. What will be on circles, I think. I definitely think we've done this question, and that's where a lot of is good crossover, because you find that not only are you looking at just one topic, if you're looking at coming to multiple sessions, or you're watching the videos back, you think, oh, that's not a question before. It's because generally each question is hitting at least one topic, so we are going to be looking at it on at least one occasion. And these are only just been retired. Do you think he's retired in July, these exams? So they're not old. And the next ones will probably be retiring, and I think probably this month or next month they'll bring out a whole new set. Generally it's twice a year. So first of all, we've got to do is convert our 3.8 feet into meters. I think this is one I made earlier. I think that's my scribbles from last time. Yeah. So we've got 3.8 feet. We're going up to the line to here. Where's my pen at? Pen's not working. Too big. And a pen has to work now. They've made this a little bit new as well. They've made this a little bit funky now. I've got like, it's more rounded. So we're going to go 3.8 feet all the way up there to our line and along. So it's not 1.1. It's not 1.2. So I'm saying it's 1.15. 1.1 will be there. Yeah, 1.2 would be there. Okay, so we're going to go 1.15. So we now know that that bit here is 1.15. And once we know what that part is, we can work out the area of that circle, because that's generally what we want. We want the big square, and then we're going to get rid of that part in the middle. So to work out the area of a circle, we're going to go, there's two formulas for circles. There's the area and there's the circumference. So the crust on the pizza is the circumference, and we need diameter times by pi. And then for area, we need the radius squared times by pi. And those are the two differences. If you can remember which way around to do those, then you're not going to be struggling with any circle questions, because it's just remembering, is it my area, so my pizza topping? If it is, it's the radius. Is it my crust? If it's a circumference, then it's my diameter. So it's kind of like remembering which way around they go. So let's have a look. We've got the radius squared. So we're going to go 1.15 times by 1.15 times by pi. And it tells here that pi is 3.14. So the calculator disappeared on us, but where did it go? It went there. So 1.15 times. Why is it not letting me times it? There we go. 1.15 equals times by 3.14. Okay, so we've got a area for that circle where they're going to throw the shot put from of 4.152. We'll keep it at 4.15. I don't think the next number after that, yeah, that's going to be 3. Okay, so we're going to call it 4.15. And then we've got the big area to work out. So the big square. So what are we going to take our circle away from? We need to go 5. And remember, this is, I've seen a few people over the Christmas break that have submitted work that have got perimeter and area mixed up. So if we're looking at everything in between, we're multiplying. If we're looking at the distance around the outside, we're adding. So if it was perimeter, we add up all the measurements. We're walking round if you think of it as being a playground, walking right around the outside of the playground, and that's your perimeter. If you're measuring how much grass you need to cut, we're multiplying. So we're going to multiply 5.5 by 6.5 to give us everything in the middle that he's working. So 35.75. So 35.75. So that is that times that equals 35.75. So we've got that one. And then we're going to take away our circle. We're not going to put the 2 in, we're just going to put 4.15. So minus 4.15. So we now know we've got an area to cover. We've done the big square, and then we've done a little circle. We've taken them away, and we've got 31.6 meters squared. If we're working out the distance around the outside, we don't put the square bit on the end, it's just meters. And if we're doing everything in the middle, we put the squared. So it's meters squared. Okay, so we've done the hard part of the question. We've worked out the circle part, and we've taken it away, and we now know what we need. He's got this cost of flooring online. Eric just has to use the median. Median, when we think of median, and I keep saying small, medium, and large. So medium and median, same word. It's the middle value when we put them in order. So think of all your clothes in order, small, medium, large. It's the middle pieces of clothing. So we're going to put all these in order, and we're going to choose the middle. Because there's an even number, we'll have a middle too. This is what I sometimes miss. So that's definitely the lowest. 58, 58, 52. That's definitely the second. That's the third. 57. That's the fourth. That's the fifth. Sixth, seventh, and eighth. Okay, so we've got them in order. So we need the fourth and fifth number. So the fourth number is 57. So I'm going to go median is 57.2. Add 58.3 equals, and then we need to divide those numbers by 2 to get the middle price. Right, let's get my calculator back open again. So we got 58.3 add 57.2 equals 115.5 divided by 2. So 115.5 divided by 2. And as you can see, this question is a 6 marker, hence why it's taken us some time to get this done. And we can see at the end where we're going to get our 6 marks from. So we've got a price of £57.75. Eric decides to use the median cost. We've done that one. He rounds the area up that he needs to the nearest whole meter. So he rounds it up. So he's going up. So we're the nearest whole meter. Obviously, if you're rounding a number, you go to the nearest. Because he's rounding it up, it specifically told us to go up. So that would make that one 32 meters. I mean, if we order 31, we wouldn't have enough. So we're going to go 32 meters times by our price, put here, and that's going to give us a total cost of his, and he said grass, it would be cheaper to get grass, rubber matting, 32, £1,848, £1,848. He thinks this will be less than £2,000. Is he correct for our 6th mark? We put yes, correct. With a 6 mark question, if you're looking at the law of averages, you can take about 12 minutes on that, because ultimately there's 90 minutes to get 45 marks. So if you're thinking it's 2 minutes per mark, that's about 12 minutes. It's taken us less than that. However, I have done this question before, so I kind of know the methodology. So for me, you're getting a mark here for converting that straight away. Then you're getting another mark for working out both the areas. We did that here, and taking them away. So you've got 3 marks already for doing this top part. Then you're going to get the 4th mark for finding out the median. And then the 5th mark will be the median price times by your meterage. That's your 5th mark. And then your 6th mark is not forgetting to say yes or no. And that was really important. If you just do all the workings out, and it's brilliant because you've written 1,848, but you didn't put yes or no, you'd miss out on that 6 mark. So the justification, yes or no, is really important. And so that's 6 marks. I think that's a good, really in-depth question. There's lots going on. But if you can kind of work through that in 10, 11, 12 minutes, I think there's every chance that people would get all 6 marks there. When we see questions like this here, straight away, we're thinking, oh my God, that's like really complicated. I can't do that. But it's asking us here just to put numbers where the letters are. So when you see big formulas, don't panic too quickly. Look, read the question first and then think, right, I can do this because V is here anyway. That's asking me what the answer is. And that's what's going to be all these added and multiplied together. So she wants to make candles in the shape of a square base pyramid. And it doesn't matter, obviously, a square base pyramid. We're looking at that. Oh my gosh, can't really draw, but that's a square base pyramid. Think of the old sweets used to get, the blue pyramid ones, walnut whips, many years ago, or the pyramids in Egypt. So yeah, you could have either or. So let's get rid of that. And right, so the volume of a pyramid is b squared times by height divided by 3. The dimensions of each candle are length of sides 20, b squared. So we're going to go 20 squared. What's that bit? Times by h. H is 30 divided by 3. Simple as that. And then if we work out that bit, because it's 5 marks, obviously we're not stopping there. So if we work out that to start with, and then we know we've got our candles size. So we're going to go 20 times by 20, divided, that's 400, times by 30. Calculator's a bit slow today. Divided by 3. And don't be afraid, like, we could have done that probably 2 times 2. And yeah, we could do it without a calculator, but to do it with a calculator, as long as you're putting the right buttons in and writing the right figures, it says, you should have no problems. 4,000. So we know that each candle is 4,000 centimeters cubed. Now we've got cubed purely because 8 says it there, but when it becomes a 3D shape, that changes to a 3 because it's 3D. The dimensions of each candle are, I've done that. Tanya will use paraffin wax to make the candles. 100 centimeters cubed of paraffin wax weighs 0.093 kilograms. Tanya finds these prices. So again, this is where the average comes in. We've got modal now. So modal starts with MO, as does most. So it's the most common, the modal price. Have we got one here? Here we got that one. Look, it's got it twice there. Right, so 100 centimeters cubed of paraffin weighs, wowzers, 250 candles as well. My goodness, she's going to be busy. Okay, so we're going to divide this number. We divide this number here because we need to find out how much wax we need. So we're going to do 4,000 divided by 100. And again, we don't need to use a calculator because we could just take 2 zeros off the end, but it's safe just to do it like that. Equals 40. So we know that we need 40 of these because that number fits into our candle 40 times. So we've got 40 lots of the wax that we need. 0.093 kilograms. Okay. So let's do our sums here. Times by 0.093. Wow, that's a heavy candle. 3.72 kilograms of wax per candle. And she wants to make 250. Oh my God. She needs a truck. Okay, so we've got the modal price per kilogram. We need the here, look. So we can either now times that by 250 to get the big, how much weight, and then times it by the price. Or we can find out what one candle will cost. Times by our modal price, £4.49 equals. Oh, thank goodness that the washing machine is finished. It's been on all afternoon. I thought it was never going to end today. I think I just twiddled the lever and it's just been going on for like 3 hours. Right, so that's each candle is going to cost £16.70. We're going to write that whole figure down because when we times it by 250, it will start slimming down. One candle to make. That's why candles are so expensive. 16,728 multiplied now by 250. Work out a total cost. Times 250, 250 equals. No way. Well, I suppose if candles do cost £30, 4175.70. Okay, let's just double check we've got everything right here. Right, we've got base squared. Yeah, we did that. Times by the height, yeah, we did that. Times by 3. So we've definitely got that right. And we know that each 100 equals 0.9. So we did that. We divided by 100, that's 40, yeah. And we times that by 40 to get the weight of one candle, which is that. Then we times the weight by the price, yes. And then we times the price by 250. Okay, it just seems so much for candles. So you've got 1 mark here for following the formula, another mark here for working out how many times or how much paraffin you're going to need. So 2 marks here, then you get 3 marks here, and then you're going to get your 4th and 5th mark for working out your mode and then your price. So 5 marks. So as much as we've hit 2 really long questions at the start, you're very rarely going to get them both stuck together. Like you can see here, they both appear in the same exam, 2138, but they would not have been together. This one's in activity 2 and this one's in activity 3, so they are separated, so you wouldn't get a huge question followed by another. And then there's one here in activity 4, 4 marker, again a decent size amount of marks. What I would say is as soon as I see these here, I'm thinking frequency table. See that, Miles? And once you've got a frequency table, we know we've got to find the midpoints. I know the exam doesn't let you, as in like drawing here. I would have a piece of paper next to me if I'm in the exam. So that stands for midpoint, and that's going to stand for total. If we find the midpoint here, Marcus records the number of days his clients book package holidays for. So 18 people book a package holiday for between 0 and 10 days. So we need to find the midpoint of that. So we're going to add, to do that, we add them both together. So we're going to add, we'll do it over here. 0, add 10, and divide that by 2. So this one here is 5 days, is the midpoint, and the number of people is 18. So we'll do the multiplications in a minute. Midpoint between 10 and 20, again, we can do 10 add 20 divided by 2 equals 15. So the midpoint for that one is 15. Likewise, we have the same up and down one, so that'll be 25. Midpoint of that one is 35. So the midpoint, so quite a lot of times when people see these questions, they think, oh, I don't know which bit I'm going to multiply. Hence why it's giving you from and to. So we need to find out that part here, the midpoint right down the middle. So we do that by adding them both up and dividing it by 2, and that's the midpoint. A bit like when you've got a double for median, you add the 2 middle values up and divide them by 2. So the midpoint for these, and then the total number of people. It's quite straightforward now. We've got 18 people booking a 5-dayer, 21 people booking a 15-dayer, 3 people booking a 35-dayer. And that's going to give us, right, let me just give, let's do those multiplications. 18 times 5 equals 90. 90. This might not be in line. Hopefully it's going to be as much in line as I can. 21 times 15. 315. 8 times 25, 200. 8 times 25, 200. And 3 times 35, 105. Okay, so we've got the total number of days now. If you think about it, this is 5 days, 18 people. So we need a total before we can then find out. So I'll show you what I mean by that. We're going to add up all our totals. And this is the same process for any frequency table. Always find the midpoint first and then multiply the midpoint by the number or the frequency here, the number of occurrences. So we're going to add those numbers up, add 90, add 200, add 105. So altogether we've got 710. And to find out, 710, not 16, to find out the average, we can see here that it's like a normal mean now. It's not the mean, it's the mean estimated. So we've got 50 people, or 50 people booking holidays, and that's a total number of days. So if we go 710 divided by the total number of people, we see the average number of days. I don't know, that's my daughter. Let me just get rid of that. She's probably asking for money. She's gone bowling. She can ring her mum. Claire's out somewhere. I've been off for 2 weeks, and then the first day I'm back, or second day I'm back, Olivia's already ringing me. Come on. Right, so we can see here that the average number of days that people book a holiday for is 14.2. That sounds amazing. 14.2 on holiday. So in March, this mean number of days, his client's book packages was 9.41. 9.41, and that's March. Marcus thinks the estimated mean number of days in April is over 1.5 times greater than the estimated number of days for March. So if we go 9.41 times by 1.5, he's saying here, so it says 1.5 times greater. He thinks it's more than that. So we're looking for a number less than 14.2 because that is more than that. So 9.41 multiplied by 1.5 equals 14.115. 14.115. So Marcus thinks the estimated mean number of days for April is over 1.5 times greater than the estimated number for March. So as you can see, we can put it here, 14.115. That's his 1.5 times March. And then actually for April, he's got 14.2. So yes, it is greater. The bigger number gets eaten by the crocodile. And there we have it here. The bigger number is that of April. So Marcus is correct. So we go correct for the fourth mark. The frequency table, they're always a bit stingy.
My dog's just going to bark.
Go on, that's okay.
You see the squirrel out in the garden.
Oh, squirrels drive me mad. I think our cat and our dog should help each other because they just, yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's fine.
He's quite loud once he starts.
I love it. Yeah, honestly, it's our dog she's sat on the sofa. I'm waiting for Claire to come back. So I've closed all the blinds except for one where she can still see out. And then she will bark. As soon as she sees Claire coming on the road, she'll bark. Yeah, squirrels this time of year. What is going on? We seem to accumulate more and more squirrels every year. I'm like, where are they all coming from? Not in my loft, hopefully, but right, Marcus's information. So this is the same theme, but it's a different question because that was for C. This is now for F. Marcus has this information about the number of bookings made in the first 6 months of 2023. He wants to compare these bookings with those made in the same period last year. Use the data to complete the table. So as you can see here, we've got the mean. He's worked out the mean already for this year and for these numbers here. The range, he's not worked out the range yet. So this is for 1 mark. We need to identify what the range is. And the range is highest, take away lowest. So we've got two numbers, and if you think about it, it fits. So that's the distance between the shortest number or the lowest number and the highest number. So it's the bits in between. The lower the range, oh, we've got that for the next question, so I won't spoil that one. The lower the range is good, it's better. So okay, so the highest number here is 92. 92. Don't know I need a calculator, but if I might use one, why not? Minus 60, even easier. So 32. So we've got 92 minus 60. So the range here will be 32. And then it says use your data, compare the mean and the range for bookings in the first 6 months with the mean and range. So your mean comparison. So mean here, we can see that 2023 is busier, is more bookings. So 2023 is busier as there average 15 more bookings. I'll just put more bookings. So my writing's awful with electric pen, even worse. So your first stat for your first mark is looking at the mean. We've said that 2023 is busier. For the range, what we want is the smaller the number, the more consistent. So we could say here bookings in 2025, that's now, bookings in 2022 were more consistent. And so because the range is smaller, if you think about, or you could say bookings in 2023 were less consistent or the range was larger, as long as you've got the understanding that the smaller the range, the more consistent the numbers are, it makes sense. Okay. We're moving to a non-calculator question and the median, wicked. Carlston collects 12 kilograms of honey from his beehive. He buys some honey jars. Each jar holds 1 pound of honey. 1 pound is one kilogram is 2.205. Carlson wants to sell his honey. He finds these prices online. Carlson uses the median price for his jars of honey. He thinks that if he sells all his jars of honey, he'll make over £240. Okay, so over £240. Median. So we need to put these in order. Right. Let's have a look. Smallest 1, 2. Oh no, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's always 2. So we need the fourth and fifth value again. Oh, it's not too bad though, is it? So fourth and fifth. So it's £8.20 and £9.80. So add those up. We've got a 0. We've got a 0 and a 1. We've got an 18. Okay, so divide that by 2. And we've got £9. So £9 per pound of honey. Okay, so let's have a look. It's saying here now, Carlson collects, this is a 6 mark as well, so again, it shows that you've got to get involved. Carlson collects 12 kilograms of honey. So now we're going to have to times this by 12. Let's have a look. Or we're not actually. Beehive buys. Yep, so we've got 12 kilos. 12 times 2.205. Rather than times it by 12, I'm going to times it by 10. So I'm going to times it by 10. So that jumps. So I've now got 22.05. And then I know that's 1 kilo. So that's now 10 kilos. And I know this is 1 kilo. And this is another kilo. So I've now got 12 kilos. I times it by 10 for my 10, and these are my 2 separate. So I know this is my weight in pounds, and that's the 0 there because that's none. Okay, and we've got 5, and that's a 6. And then we've got 2 and 4. And we've got 2, 4, 6. And we've got 2. So we know that 12 kilograms of honey is 26.46 pounds of honey. And then we've got to say, use the median price for your John. He thinks that if he sells, he'll make over £240. So we've got the price. That's the weight, sorry. Times by the price. and it's just a normal. It's a normal multiplication, and because we know we haven't got too big of numbers, we haven't got any decimals. It's just a straight £9. If it had been £8.20, I would have probably made these numbers bigger to get rid of the decimals. Because I've only got one decimal here, we're just going to times it all by 9, and we're going to get there. So again, non-calculator, if you don't know, say for example, your 9th time table, write it somewhere, get it on a piece of paper. Once you're in the exam, write things down. Make sure you remember. Right, so we can go all the way up if you want. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 times 9 here, 54. 4 times 9, yeah, we've already got that, 36. Add our spare 5, that'd be 41. 6 times 9 again, yeah, it was a 54. Add our spares, which is 8 and 5. 2 times 9, yeah, 18. Add our 5 spares is 23. So we can see now that if he sells all his jars of honey, he's going to make £238.14p, which is not more. So it's less than. £240 is more. So is he correct? Not correct. So he's incorrect. Right, we will move in to the next question. Luigi sets the sale price for his ice creams. He finds these prices for a cone with 1 scoop of ice cream. He decides to sell a cone with 1 scoop of ice cream for the modal. Again, modal is MO, as is most. Modal is most common. We're looking for the most common price. We can see here that £3.50p appears 3 times. So £3.50 is the modal price. It costs Luigi £20.40p for 1 tub of ice cream and 6p for 1 cone. He knows there are 40 scoops of ice cream in 1 tub. Luigi works out that the sale price of an ice cream cone with 1 scoop is 534% more than the cost price. Wow. No wonder ice creams cost about £8. Right. Okay, so we got 1 tub, £20.40 here. And he makes 40 scoops. So we're going to, it's calculator now. Again, we've got calculator. We're going to divide that by 40 because we know that's how much each ice cream is going to cost us. So we're going to go, let's get rid of that. I'm going to go 20, and I'm only doing it in p because I don't want a big decimal, divided by 40. So each ice cream is going to cost us 51p. So equals 51p. And then he's got the 6p for a cone. So each ice cream, that's the ice cream, and that's the cone. Ice cream. And so we can see it's going to cost us 57p per ice cream. Wow, 57p per cone and ice cream. Right. He works out the sale price to be 534% more than the cost price. So we're going to do 57p, and we're going to times it by, so if you think about this now, we've got here £3.50. So what we're going to do is, let me just get this out. What's that? Sale price of ice cream to 1 cone, 530. So if he's selling 1 scoop, my brain, so we're going to times this by 5. That's 500.34. So that's a 534%. So if we times this number, that's what it's saying. It's saying 5 whole times and then 34. So 57, because including the price of the cone, times by 5.34 equals 300. This is in pence as well. So we've got 304.38. So in pounds, we can see that's going to be £3 4p. So we can definitely see Luigi works out the sale price of ice cream with one scoop is more than. Yes, it is more than. Look, he's saying he's charging £3.50p. Let me scroll down a little bit. So the cost price and cost price times by 534% equals. So that's 534% equals that, which is less than £3.50. So now you know why ice cream trucks make a lot of money, because they're selling ice cream at 534% more than the cost price. So in theory, you should say, right, I want them for 57p because that's the cost it costs you to buy it. I don't want a flake. I just want a scoop of ice cream for 57p. Wow. And then straight away again, we see the to and from. So we're looking at this estimated mean again, this frequency business. Okay. Luigi records the amount of money from the sales of ice cream, so last 20 days. And then we go. So on one day, he made between 140 and 180 pounds. On 5 days, he made between 180 and 220. So we've got to work out the midpoint. Let me put that out of the way. Midpoint. So remember, midpoint, we add both numbers up, 140, add 180, divided by 2 equals 160. So on one day, this is bad day, you made 160. Between 180, add 220, divided by 2 equals 200. So on 5 days, you made £200. And then 220 to 260, 220 at 260, divided by 2 equals 240. 7 days, you made £240. And then on 7 days, the middle between those is 280. So we now know the money he made, and then we're going to times it by the number of days he made that money. And then we've got our mean total, like you would on a normal mean average question. 160, add 200, add 240. Oh no, we're timesing it. Gosh, I'm thinking that's going to be too easy. Right, 160 times 1. I can do that in my head. That's good. So 160, so this is the totals. 160 times 1 is 160. 5 times 200 is 1,000. 7 times 240, that's more like, isn't it? Right, so 7 times 240. Oh, 7 times 240 equals 1,680. 1,680. And then 7 times 280. 7 times 280. Okay, so we know that that's how much money you made in the last 20 days. So we add all this up, 1960. So we add all those up and we divide it by 20 to find out how much money you made on average each day. Have 1,680, add 1,660. So he made £4,900 in 20 days. So Luigi thinks the estimated minimum per day was over 250. So we now we've got 4,800 divided by 20 equals 240. Divided by 20 equals £240. So he thought his amount was going to be over 250. So is he correct? Not correct. And the reason we know he's not correct is because we've done out the mean. We found out, divide it by 20, and we're making £240 per day, not £250 per day. Okay, Natalia, non-calculator again, this one. Okay, so non-calculator. Natalia knows that 4 couples had ceremonies at the registry office last weekend. The table shows the type of ceremony and the age of each person. Natalia makes these 2 statements in her report. The mean age of people who had a civil partnership was higher than those that got married. And then the ages of people who got married was more consistent So when we talk about range, we're saying lower equals more consistent. So we're looking at, she was saying that the age of the people that got married was more consistent. So let's have a look. We're going to put in here range because we need to know what the range is. So we've got the highest age there is 38 and the lowest age there is 24. So 38 take away 24 equals 14. So we know the range of people that got married is that. And then the civil partnership, we've got 46 and 26. So 46 take away 26 equals 20. So we can see that the age of people got more consistent. So yes. So we can put here, yes, this is correct. And then mean, obviously we need to add these up and divide it by 4. So we need to add all these numbers up. So we got what, 29, add 26, add 27, add 46. So we've got 15, 22, 28. And we've got 2, 4, 6, 10, 11, 12. So we've got 12, 128 divided by 4, because there's 4 different ones. So divide by 4 equals, so 4's into 12 is 3, 4's into 8 is 2. So we know that the mean age for civil partnerships was 32. The mean age for people who had civil partnership was higher. So yes, that is correct. So for a non-calculator question, we're not looking at frequency tables, very rarely. We're looking at more normal kind of averages, the mean, the range, maybe mode again will be, there's no mode in there because there's no most common number, median maybe. Calculator. Charlie wants to work out how much you'll spend on fuel. His rental car can travel at 68 kilometers per gallon. Charlie plans to travel a total of 4,148 kilometers. He finds the current price of gallons. Right, okay, so of course it's going to be dollars. Charlie uses the median, again, median, small, medium, and large, and adds on 12%. Charlie, how much will he spend in total? So we've got to transfer it into pounds. It's a 6-mark question, so the maximum amount of points you're allowed for a question. His rental car can travel at 68 miles per gallon. He's going to go a total of 4,148. So the first thing we need to do is get our total and divide it by how many miles per, how many kilometers per gallon his car goes. So we know it goes 68 kilometers per gallon. So we're going to go 4,148 total distance divided by how far per gallon, 68. So we can clearly see now he needs 61 gallons. 61 gallons needed. And that's the easy part, really, because we've got the total distance divided by how far his car goes per gallon, and we've got 61 gallons. And now we've got the price. Okay, so we can use the median price. Obviously, yeah, of course we've got an even number. Right, so I'm not, rather than writing order, I mean, if I had the space, you could write them in a nice, neat order here, but that's the lowest. That's the second lowest. That's the third lowest. That's the fourth lowest, so we need that one, and that one is a 5th, 6, 7, 8. So we need the 4th and 5th numbers, so we need $3.90, add $4.10, which we've got is $8, and then we divide that $8 because there's 2 prices divided by 2. So we got $4 needed times by 61. But before we do the 61, he says here, Charlie has to use the medium price of fuel and increase it by 12%. So we need to add on 12% to that number. And we can do that several ways. If you've got a if you've got a percentage button on your calculator, you can just put 4, add 12%, and it'll do it for you. Or if you haven't got, or you don't know how to use that button, you can put 4 times by and then 1.12, the 12%. We need the 4, that's the 100%, and then we need the 12, same price. So if you've got the percentage button on a calculator, just click add and then 12%, and it'll give you it, but we didn't. So we're going to put 4 times 1.12 equals 4.48 multiplied by 61. Because this is how much, and don't forget, this is still in dollars. Because we need 61 gallons, and we're going to cost it at $4.48. So we need $273.28. 273.28. We got, I'll just put another circle on that for no reason. This is our conversion. We can see the dollars is bigger. $1 is the same as 0.8. So to get that number, 0.8 or 80% of that value, we're just going to multiply it by 0.8. If we divided it by 0.8 by accident and you weren't sure which way around to go, then we'll do it anyway. We'll divide by 0.8. We can see, oh no, I've done that by 0. 273.28 divided by 0.8. We can see that number. Oh, I have to remember the number. I typed it on in 273.28 divided by 0.8. Hopefully that works. So we can see if we did like that, our numbers got bigger, and we can't go bigger. The pounds cannot be bigger than the dollars because it's in here $1 is not even worth £1. So if we're getting £341, we can clearly see we've done the divide, not the multiply. So if we do the multiply, 273.28 multiplied by 0.8, you can see the numbers got smaller. So we can see that our number is now 218 and 62p. And that will be your answer. If again with conversions, if you've converted it and you can see that your number, if you put them in the same, like in the same ratio as what you've got there, and you think, oh well, why is my number bigger? Just try the opposite way around. Try dividing it or try multiplying it, and you'll get the right way around. It's a mistake that is made loads, and people roll with it. I'm like, if you'd have just looked back at the actual original ratio, you'd have then done the opposite, and then you'd have got that extra mark. I mean, it's a final mark anyway, but you still want to, if it's a 6 marker, you want to be aiming for all 6. And you don't want to kind of do all the hard stuff and then get that last mark knocked off because you didn't convert it or you convert it incorrectly into pounds. Marco wants to increase his hourly rate. Okay, so straight away we see the to and froms. So I'm putting midpoint and I'm putting total. If I've got my pad of paper next to me, I'm doing exactly the same. And this is where online exams can be a bit of a pain because you've then got to put what you've worked out into your box on here. So for me, if I'm working this out on my pad of paper and then putting it into my box, I'm doing that. I'm going 20. This is on my paper, 20 or 30 divided by 2, so that equals 25. I'm putting 25 on my, this is safe as my working out box on my computer, times by 2. And I'm going to put it's 50, so times that by 2. And I'm going to put here 30 to 40. I can see that the midpoint's going to be 35. I've had them both up, so I'm going to put 35 times 10 equals 350. So I'm missing just a 1 step out. I'm not kind of putting in how to find out the midpoint. That's 45 times by 7. It's calculator, so I'm getting my calculator out for that one. 45 times 7 equals 315. 315, and then I've got my last one, 55 times by 1 equals 55. So all my midpoints are here, 45, 55, and I've got my odd numbers here, 315 and 55. I'm adding them up. I've got 5 of them, That's that one. I've got 5, 10, 15, 16, 17. And I've got another one there. 300, 400, 400. What? That's wrong, isn't it? 600, 700, 770. That's right. I think that's just a bad writing there. 770. Okay, then I'll divide it by 20. 770 divided by 20, 770 divided by 20. This is calculator, I'm thinking 38.5 equals 38.5. So as a private tutor, he wants to work out his estimated hourly rate. So of all these tutors, there's 20 tutors, they're charging an average of £38.50 per hour. Amazing. I saw a car driving around town the other day with a big sign on top saying private tutor for maths and English for your GCSEs. I'm like, okay. Already, and we're months out. Let's squeeze one more question in here. We've got time for one more question, and it's going to be, it's this one, isn't it? Right. Non-calculator. Okay. So it's a 5 marker, so it's a nice big one to finish off with. Jake wants to estimate how much he'll be paid per hour next month. He can work out using this formula. So we've got a formula already. A non-calculator, we're thinking, oh my gosh, it's like another big one. Pay equals N, number of successful applicants, and then M divided by 5. The monthly salary of each successful applicant is 2,000. So the monthly salary of a successful applicant, so we're going to put these numbers in here. P equals N, 3. We've got a bracket. M stands for the monthly salary of each successful applicant, so that's 2,000. Divided by 5. And then we're going to add 320. So we do the bracket first, always. If you think of bid maths, B for bracket. So 2,000 divided by 5, it's going to give us 400. Me, use that as Claire. I need to get rid of that. Why is that coming up on my phone, not on my computer? Sorry. Dismiss. Still wasn't working. Okay. 2,000 divided by 5 is 400. And then we're going to times that by 3. So that's the bracket. It's outside it now. Look. So we know that part is 1,200. Add our spare bit at the end is 1,520. We've done the bracket part. Next month, Jake expects to place 3 applicants. So we've done that part, and each salary is 2. The table shows the hours Jake worked for the last 8 months. Estimate Jake's pay per hour next month. Use the modal. Modal is most common. 161, 160 appears once, twice, 3, 4. Okay, so it appears 4 times. Jake wants to know, Jake, tell me, so estimate Jake's pay per hour. Okay, so that's his monthly pay. 15, 1,520. And the number of hours he worked is 160. So when we look at that as a division, I don't like that. When we look at that as a division, we can think, oh my God, that looks a bit complicated. I'm dividing 160. For me, straight away, I'm taking that off. I'm taking that off. So it becomes altogether a little bit less scary. And I don't know my 16 times table off by heart, so I'm writing them here. And again, there's nothing wrong with you writing any times tables out wherever you've got them. 64, 80, 96. Okay, is that going to be enough, do you think? 96, 106, 112. Okay, so that's not right, is it? Is it? My brain's not working. 96, 106, 112, 112. Right, that's better. And then, yeah, at 16, it'll be 128. Right, so I think we've got, oh no, we might not, we might be able to get all the way up here. 16, add another one. 28, 38, 38, 44. No, we're not going to, we? 44, that'd be 160. So we're not far off. So we can do a 16s into 152. We can see here, look, it goes that many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And we've got 44 to 52 left. So 44 up to 50 is 6. Add another 2 is 8. So we've got 8 left over. And then 16s into 8 don't go. So we put the decimal place in there. And so now we can go 16s into 80. 16s into 80. Okay, 1, 2. And the reason when we put a decimal place in there, we put a 0 on the end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can see it goes into 5 times. So he's getting paid £9.5. So we know that that is £9.50. Okay, that is, well, we've got quite a few left. Okay, what I'll do, I'll record those on Monday, and then yeah, we get the full works. Let me stop recording. Right, stop recording.